Now, I want to say something. You know, when I started my podcast, I started it because I wanted to hang out with people that I like and just do it for absolute fun. I always thought, I'm like, who would get me out of like my chair or bed to come to the studio and sit down? And honestly, I'm not like just saying this to be nice, but you are one of those guys that I look forward to sitting down with you because you are so analytical about things. So I'm so happy to have you every single time.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad I got you out of your pajamas to come to here to do it.
Well, I mean, not yet, but maybe next time we'll. Well, let's start out first by congratulating you. I think you guys have done incredibly well in the last how many years since you've started?
Years? It's been 8 months.
No way.
Yeah.
8 months.
8 months.
And you've already won how many awards now?
5.
Oh my
5
God.
and 8.
Five awards
well,
for a company. I mean, can we say it's a startup? We can't. It's not a startup anymore.
100% it's a startup. 100%.
Listen, with the amount of volume that you guys are doing.
Well, we've onboarded.
With the volume that you guys are doing, it's not
Yeah.
a startup. Judging by numbers.
It's a startup. It's a startup. We're an incredibly small team.
I know, but you punch way above your weight. Way above your weight.
We do, but
Right?
yeah, we do. And that's through a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of obsession with what we're about. And it's having a great team. My co-founder is excellent at what she does.
Yeah.
So all of that makes it very susceptible for us growing at the speed we're growing.
Nice. So who would you say is more of a nerd, you or her? Or both?
We're nerdish on different things.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. And that's why we work so well together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
The
good.
things that I'm not nerdy about at all,
Yeah.
and I'll say it, is detail.
Yeah.
She is fanatical about detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I consider the details as a silver lining of everything. So it's just what brings it all together nicely at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same.
It's having systems in place, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
she ingrains this in me every day.
Yeah.
It's about having systems because when things do start to go wrong, you can always rely on your system.
Yeah, that's great. Well, today is about you, as it always will be every time we sit down. But the topic of today is one that I thought was very interesting. Dubai unaffordable by year 4.
Yeah. So it's an affordability crisis. That's what we're facing in Dubai. We've had 4 years of hyper growth.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to have the consequences of that hyper growth. And when I look at a market, I look at for the residents, the people who live here. I've lived here for 27 years. I consider myself a Dubaian.
Yeah.
The people of Dubai is what I strive to help. And that's the reason why we created our company is to help those people. So it's just all about there is a solution coming. It's if it comes fast enough. We're already seeing in the data the effects of the affordability crisis already.
So what's the solution, if you don't mind me asking?
Supply.
Just real quick. Okay.
Supply. And it's coming. And it's coming large. And it's going to not make a lot of people very happy. But for the majority of Dubai residents, it's the savior.
Of course. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, but from my own analysis and the numbers and the reports I'm reading, it's towards 2028, 2029.
2027, 2028 is when, because we've had so many launches this year,
right?
It's kind of pushed it back.
Okay.
The stuff that's been announced since probably 2021, 2022, when they first started making the development announcements, the new projects, most of that will come online by 2028, end of 2028, even with the delays that they're predicting.
And how much, like when we talk about the stuff that's going to come in supply in those years, it's going to cover how much percentage of the gap?
Of the gap?
Yeah.
There's going to be an immense oversupply.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, how much more are we going to go over?
We're going to go well over. well over.
Give me numbers. You know I love the numbers.
We're going to be 166,000 units available, basically in the rental pool, looking for tenants and looking for 750,000 population that isn't going to be there.
Ooh.
If you want,
You've heard it first.
Yeah. So
you heard it first here from Rakesh.
So we like to reverse engineer things.
Okay.
Right?
Take me through it.
And this is why when I say year 4, I think a lot of the hype marketing can actually be debunked with very basic mathematics. Now, I'm not talking calculus. I'm not talking algebra. I'm not talking...
Wait, you're talking year 4 from today?
I'm talking... no, let's look at 2028. Okay. What I'm saying is that a lot of the hype and that can be debunked by a 10-year-old's mathematics abilities. Okay. Basic BIMDAS, basically.
All right, let's do it. Let's go through it. You know what? I'll let you lead the whole thing.
So let's start with the solution, I guess, which is the supply.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's going to come... Wait, we might be in a supply squeeze until 2028.
Right.
But it is coming. We're already seeing the effects of it with the units that were launched that were delivered this year, and the majority that will be delivered next year. But it's really 2028 before the supply squeeze really is finished.
Okay.
So let's look at the population. The population right now is 4 million people.
Right.
We have 880,000 units for living
in total.
So if we take that population, divide it by how many units we have, that's 4.5 people per accommodation, per unit.
Right.
Right now, as I said, it's a supply squeeze. And forget all the delays. These projects are going to be finished by 2028. So that's been announced. So there'll be 300,000 units by 2028. The population needed to fill those 300,000 units. So 300,000 multiplied by the average household. 4.5 gives us 1.3 million 50,000. 1,350,000 people. That's what we need in Dubai to be able to absorb those units
by
end of 2028. So if we look,
so that means 3 years. So 1 minute, because the population increase last year was 220.
Correct.
Thousand. So
correct.
135 million divided by 3 years. 26, 27, 28.
Yep, exactly.
So 450,000. So double what we are increasing, and
so it's a 33% increase in population by 2028, or 11% per year, which frankly is almost impossible. We're currently growing at 5.5%.
Okay.
So it's a real stretch. It's never been seen before unless there's been some very dramatic macro population movements.
Right.
So we're currently at 5%.
What you're saying right now is crazy. Are people listening to you?
Yeah. Some people, the right people are, I'd say. The people who know.
How is not everyone listening to you right now?
We don't have the marketing spend of the big developers and real estate agents. At the end of the day, you're going against the narrative. We're going against the narratives. Our clients love the data that we give and the fact that it's been proven over and over and over again. And they're the people who are making the decisions. The family offices, the property managers, the asset managers, they have access to this data. They can see it themselves. They're all sitting on cash right now. They're not entering the market. They're literally waiting for 2029. For them right now, it's all about yield before this supply comes on the market. So if we keep on growing at the same rate we're going over the next 3 years, that will be the 5% increase over 3 years. That's 600,000 people by 2028. So we have a shortfall there of the 1.35 million divided by, take 600,000. We have an awful lot of, that's the 750,000 people basically that we're missing. Now, if we take those 600,000, we multiply that by the average household, the 4.5, that gives us what we should be building to absorb that easily is 134,000 units. But we're building 300,000. So that means we have 167,000 extra units.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that people are not screaming out these figures, because I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm in my mind I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, what's the percentage of homeowners that are actually aware of this, or that are actually really diving deep into the numbers?
The serious investors they would have access to this
like
information.
You said, very few.
But there's also different reasons why people invest, right? So it all comes down to the mindset of the investor. Are they buying for a long-term home for their family? They're not going to be
I'm talking now purely the ones that are just renting it out.
The pure investor. So that's 80% of the market. Only 20% of the market is end user.
There you go.
So the 80%,
because we're going to talk about the unaffordability later on.
So the 80% of the market, a lot of them are buying for golden visas and other reasons. They're not buying for the yield. They're not buying for the actual investment. If that comes along, that's a great benefit for them. The investors, when they see the supply that's coming, then they'll start to seeing why the yield's starting to come down. We're already seeing it start to come down. And then that affects your capital. That affects your capital growth and everything, the ROI and everything that comes along with it. Rather than just capital appreciation, your ROI also includes the yield you get every year. That yield starts to come down, and it depends on where interest rates are at the time. Then that could have an effect.
Wow. Okay. So let's be the devil's advocate for a second here. Is there any chance that the population increase could match the oversupply that's going to come to the market?
This is Dubai. Anything's possible. Dubai benefits from a lot of macro events, as well as we've seen it get affected by the macro events. But this is Dubai. Never count it out when it comes to those types of things.
Yeah.
Let's say there's another
crisis
somewhere around, especially in the region. People flock to Dubai in those cases. But on the other side, there could also be an end peace in Ukraine and Russia.
Right.
A lot of people moved here when that happened. Would they go back? Have they already gone back, or have they stayed here? These are the things we need to look at. I think when we talk about Dubai, it is because we've just been hyper growth for 4 years, right? It's just been build, but yet a lot of the other parts of the economy have been outpaced. Affordability being one of them. We've grown so fast and so quickly that we've actually outpaced affordability.
So what you're telling me so far is that we'd have to have double the population increase to match the required demand to be able to absorb whatever is going to come in the market right now in the supply.
And that's only the ones that have been announced to finish by 2028.
Exactly.
I think we've had an extra 90,000 units announced this year.
Yeah. Number two, you've also stated that most of the supply is going to come towards 2028. And number three, you're saying that all the people that are informed, that are listening to you, that are looking at the numbers, are actually holding on their cash until the market corrects itself or reaches some sort of
they know how cycles work. I mean, in every real estate market in the world, there's a cycle. The length of the cycle depends on how developed, how mature the market is. We're seeing the cycles lengthen here, but not by a great amount. It's usually around between 6 and 7 years.
Yeah.
We're kind of hitting that 6 to 7 year mark right now. They know that we'll go through a down period, and that's when they plan on using their cash surplus that they have now to re-enter the market. These are smart guys. They know what they're doing. They have access to some of the best data. They have history and experience in the market. They've seen it before. They know how to play the market.
So what would be your advice to real estate developers that are entering the market now?
I don't give advice, number one, when
Rakesh,
it comes to this type of thing.
Give me something. Not advice, but let's say, you know what? You're a real estate developer. You're sitting on 100 million, right? Whatever, debt or cash or combination of both. What would you do? And really, tell me honestly, because this would be great at least insight for other people. What would you do?
I would be looking at building affordable housing with good sizes.
Okay.
The government just announced a element to fixing the affordability crisis, 17,000 units of affordable accommodation.
Right.
I would look at getting into some of those contracts probably.
So
Or building a little bit more luxurious affordable housing in decent sizes.
All right.
Multifamily units.
So we've got Rakesh here telling us that if he was a real estate developer,
which I'm not,
which he's not, but he would focus more on affordable housing. So basically, try to hit that lower cost, lower price sort of segment, because everything now is
everything now is luxury, but
is luxury.
Only 20% of the market is luxury. The rest, 80% of it, is affordable housing.
Which is exactly.
Play the volume game. I'm always about volumes, even if it's unsexy. Play the volumes.
But then I will tell you what the issue would that be. Then I would tell you what the issue would be in that case. Since it's a seller's market, the person that's sitting on the plot of land is also very greedy. So that's the other problem that you have.
Yes.
So he has 100 agents talking to him on day, but no, you can get more. No, I can sell it for more. No. Mentally, he's here. In 2028 or in 2029, he's going to get hit with reality here, unless he sells before. But basically, people are inflating his mind. And this is something that every single agent tells me. It's like these owners are so undecisive that they keep jacking up the price every single time they hang up the phone.
I hear the same from our agents when speaking with landlords, and what they think that the rent should actually be versus what the market actually is. And they're trying to convince their landlords that this isn't the market anymore, but the landlords, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time for them to see the market, maybe not get the offers, or the offers get pulled that they do have when they're asking too much. And then after a while, something stays vacant for a little bit. They realize they're losing money on it if they don't actually action it. So that's when the market tips. We're already seeing rental prices drop, not as dramatically as what we thought it would do, because the landlords are still resisting the fact that the demand is no longer there than what
until
it was.
reality hits them.
Until reality hits, they have three months of vacant. That's 8% per month lost income. So what's that? That's 24%.
So would you? And obviously, so basically what you're saying is this applies to homeowners and also obviously landowners, right? Because it's the same thing.
The landlords, so what's going to happen is when there's so much supply, it means that the tenants are the ones who are going to be in the power seat. They're going to be able to demand and dictate. It's going to shift. We've seen it. It's moved in cycles many, many times.
Right.
For the landlord, it's going to get incredibly competitive.
Right.
They're going to have to come up with reasons why the tenant should use their apartment, rent their apartment. And that will be great property management, probably an element of digital tools, and multiple flexible payments.
You know what? I really, really cannot say it enough. You are the most knowledgeable guy in real estate. You know why? Because every single thing that you said right now has been told to me in confidence by someone that's an advisor to one of the top 5 or I would say in the top 4 real estate developers in Dubai, like directly working with him. And he told me word for word, it's like, Mohammed, it's not what it seems anymore. This is all hype. Don't buy into it. It's so unaffordable right now that I've got idiots buying up land thinking that this, and people that are rich, that are buying land, and I'm telling them not to, because you are never going to make the numbers that you want. And they still buy it, convincing themselves or someone else convincing them that the market's going to recover, and it's not going to. There's no way. He told me right now we reached a point of complete unaffordability if you are judging by the numbers that you would normally judge, that you used to get back in the day, the double-digit return on investment, you know?
But what we've seen is that time is the differentiator, right? If you have a really long-term mentality when it comes to property and real estate, that's where you make the big money. Like, you may have been lucky and you bought in 2021, so you've seen enormous growth in 4 years.
Right.
But someone who bought back in 2008 also has seen amazing growth.
Right.
And they've put the time into the market. It's just the market will go down and it'll come back up, and it'll probably be even higher than what it is now, right?
But that time is only on the side of the people that have the power, that have the cushion, the capability of waiting it out. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a small, average, or even above average investor, you don't have time on your side. No?
And they're the ones who always get burnt.
Exactly, because first of all, time means interest. And if you are financing things off of debt, you're screwed.
Yes. Yeah. And we've seen, I think, I read a central bank, we've got 51% more debt in the last 3 years than we did before. Personal debt. People are going into debt like crazy.
Wow.
And maybe that's the only way they're coping to survive.
So what's the problem here? Like, you tell me, what do you think the problem is here? Is it because it's just becoming such a marketing frenzy that you would be so unpopular if you go against the narrative? Is it because Dubai has been so much under the spotlight right now that everybody is just jumping on that train because they just want to sell, whatever it is, especially agents? Or is it just purely supply and demand? It's just like what happens in any other market.
It's the same thing that happens in any market. It's the cycles, right? It's supply and demand. We've been in a supply squeeze for 4 years. That's going to shift in the next 2 years it's now then going to be a supply glutton. There's going to be too much supply tsunami, I like to call it. But right now, it's the fact that it's not just real estate.
Yeah.
There's cost of living has gone up in many, many things.
Right.
We're seeing small to large companies lay off staff because they're trying to save costs, whether they're spending on AI, so they need the money to go there, or they found an AI tool to replace. They're not hiring. Wages have stagnated around 1.6% growth per year. And the dirham has been devalued 10% because of it's pegged to the dollar. So in a country that imports most of its things, that means everything automatically got 10% more expensive. Plus, your salary hasn't increased. Rent's gone up on average around 7.6% this year.
Right.
Things are starting to get really tight. And we'll go into that in a second on just how tight that really is.
Okay.
But I think when they say that people are buying, it's not the residents. It's mostly foreigners or it's investors. It's not end user residents because it's just too hard. We were just discussing when you bought your place, all the costs and fees that came along with it. So let's go into the actual numbers of that just to show it.
Let's do it.
So, I think what a lot of people forget when they talk about Dubai is the demographics of Dubai.
Yeah.
Right?
So run me through it.
So we have around blue collar workers. Based on last studies, it's 43.5%, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just clarify that.
43%.
43.5% of blue collar workers who are earning between 1,000 to 3,500 dirhams a month. Then we have the junior white collar, which is another 20%. We have the mid-management, which is 23.4%, and then the higher management, which is 12.2%. Now, those figures are from the DSC. Looking at Glassdoor, Gulf Talent, and Cooper Fitch, blue collars, as I said, 1,000 to 3,500. Junior white collars are on 4,000 to 10,000. Mid-management's on 18,000 to 3,500. 35,000, sorry. And then high earners are on 45,000 plus. So you've always got to remember those demographics. That means the average wage in Dubai right now is around 13,100. That's heavily skewed because of some very serious high earners, even when the majority of the population probably isn't earning that or close to that. So that's one thing that I think is never really considered when we always talk averages.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if we look at the average house now, Property Monitor just released some figures that it's 1,625 dirhams per square foot.
Okay.
If we look at an average house of about 1,800 square foot, that's around 3 million dirhams.
Right.
And that actually equates to what a lot of people are saying is the median right now. It's 3 million. Again, it's skewed because of some very, very large
Yeah.
housing purchases.
3 million is a lot in comparison to what it was before.
It is. It's taking
Because 3
quite a
million
jump.
will barely get you a 3-bedroom small townhouse.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And that's exactly
the sizes are not what they used to be. So even the 3-bedroom townhouse is not. It's not enough space. It's very congested. It's very small.
Yeah, the sizes have changed. We've seen that.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenally. So let's say it's a 3 million house. You need that 20% down payment. So that's 600,000. Then you need the 6% fees, which is DLD. It's the agent's fees. It's conveyancing. It's everything like that. That's another 180,000.
Right.
So you have to find 780,000 even before you start looking for a place.
Just cash sitting.
Just cash. You have to be able to have that available. Now, UAE mortgages are around 3.9 to 4.5. Let's say it's 4%. The average tenure for a loan, 25 years, because we are a very transient economy. So your monthly payment, you're looking at around 12,500. Let's say it's 13,000. Now, the banks here, UAE Central Bank, has their DBR rule, right? Debt to burden ratio, which is what I like to call the you shall not pass rule.
Exactly.
So if your mortgage is 13,000, then you need to have a salary of 26 because the DBR is 50%, right?
Yeah.
That's your debt to burden ratio.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you want to buy some clothes, you maybe want to go to a brunch or even save some extra cash. You need at least a salary of 30,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
Now, that's putting us directly in middle of the high management and the ultra high management.
Which is how much percentage?
Which is you have the top 12%. And then you have half of the next rung down, which was 24%. So you have another half there. So that makes it in total 24%, right? So 24% of the population via salary is only applicable to be able to buy the median premises here in Dubai. Now, coming back to that 780,000 that you have to have saved up before.
How many years would it require from you to have?
So there was a local study showing that 46% of Dubai residents save between 10 and 20% of their salary. There's 5% that actually managed to save 50%. I want to meet those 3%.
Have managed to save how much?
50% of their salary.
They must be living in under a rock.
Or they're earning so much and they're not spending, right? They could just be earning a great salary and then just not spending it.
Potentially, but then what's the point of life?
Yeah. Well, if they're earning enough salary, they're still having a great life, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So just to save for the deposit and the fees, assuming that you're part of that 46%, and we're saving the 15% of our salary, our 30,000, it would take us 14 and a half years to save that 780,000. Right? So let's take 46% of our 24% that it can actually afford to buy, and that leaves us with 11% of residents that can actually have a mortgage to buy a house. Now, of that 11%, a lot of them probably already own homes and now are investors. So they're just rebuying homes and becoming a landlord.
Yeah.
Then that leads us on to the affordability crisis of renting, right? Because again, we've seen 4 years of hyper growth. Most economics, most government funds would look at affordability of if you're spending less than 30% of your rent, that's affordable. 30% of your salary, if you're putting that away for rent, it's still the biggest expense that you have every month and the biggest contract that you're signing every year. That's considered affordable. 30% above, that's when you get to rent stress. 50% and above, that's rent strain. 100%, it's just not mathematically possible. You're sharing, you're living in employer housing, or you're going into debt.
So, how much did you say is considered affordable?
30%. 30% of your rent, of 30% of your salary going towards rent is considered affordable in an economic situation. That's what they always look at. Now, the average one bed in Dubai right now is between 6,000 to 8,500 per month. If you're in the city center, it's getting closer to 9, 10. So if we come back to our demographics of Dubai, the blue collar worker who's earning 1,500 to 3,000, 3,500 a month, his rent burden would be 171% to 567,000%. He's not getting into a one bedroom ever as a solo person. The junior white collar on his salary is looking at between 60 to 170% rent to salary burden. Again, they're either sharing, they're moving further away, so they're commuting some incredible hours, or they're leaving altogether, or they're going into debt. For those middle management people, they're around the 17 to 47% rent to salary. For the top end, it's negligible. They're below the 30%. So what we have here is 76% of residents are spending more than 50% of their income on rent. That's well above the 30%. That's the rent strain. That's why we're seeing in the last year the spike in defaults and the spike in delays on payments. The Rental Dispute Committee said that they had 45,000 cases in quarter 2 alone, the majority of them being for non-payment of rent. That's 45,000. That's a third of all rental contracts being in dispute.
Unbelievable.
Right? That's some crazy numbers.
So really, we've reached now a point where it has become completely unaffordable for a lot of people.
Yes, without sharing, without going into debt, or without a longer commute time, which is why we've seen the demand in rentals drop.
Let's think outside the box for a minute here. Why hasn't this pushed people to go into other Emirates?
It has. And that's why we've seen the drop in demand, especially on renewals. People haven't been renewing. They're moving to other Emirates, or they're moving away.
Where?
Sharjah, Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, and they're doing the commute. They're doing the 2 hours to work, the 2 hours back home.
Just so that they can stand on their feet.
Just so they can stand on their feet. Or they're moving into sharing accommodation, which is a little bit closer, hopefully next to a metro line.
Unbelievable. So people really, and I think that's exactly why it's also driving the demand for real estate in Sharjah and Ras Al Khaimah, because it's also booming.
They've actually seen rent increases quite considerably because of that push.
Yeah. What about Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi seems to be a market that is managing this much better than Dubai, in the fact that their demographics are a little bit different. They have a lot more locals, so they're not renting as much. They have had rent increases, but not anywhere near what Dubai has had.
No, but I mean, why don't people move to Abu Dhabi? Because now, I think with the new Etihad Rail, it will also make the commute.
Yeah, that will make it amazing.
That will make it amazing, right? Because the commute would make it so much easier. It would, was it 50 minutes from Dubai to Abu Dhabi?
It is, but if you have the choice, I guess if you're on that strict budget for affordability, even though Sharjah is probably a longer commute, the rent is probably cheaper. So you're making that decision to commute more and pay a cheaper rent.
Yeah, but it's not a normal commute. It's like suicidal commute.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's what you have to do.
That's insane. So basically, people will have to find a way to stick it out for the next 3 to 4 years until they start seeing some
It probably wouldn't
stability.
wouldn't be because of we're only growing 5% in population, whereas the amount of units that have been delivered this year, there was quite a few delays. So those delayed units will get handed over probably first half of 2026, and then the other units that were going to come on in 2026 anyway. So we're going to start seeing supply come to the market next year, but the majority of it won't come till 2027, 2028.
Okay.
But it will start to come next year. And it's the reason why we're already seeing JVC as a prime example of how many units have been handed over. Tenants literally early terminating their current lease and moving across the road to a newer building for the exact same rent or less rent. We're starting to see that play out in the market. We're starting to see landlords start to offer the pay 12 months, get 13 months. Those incentives again.
Yeah. Well, once you start seeing those incentives, that's when you know
now
the market's going down.
This isn't a local Dubai issue. This isn't a UAE issue. It's happening all over the world.
Right.
Affordability is, unless you're Donald Trump and thinks of affordability as a hoax, real world problems for real world people, affordability is an issue. Now, so we're currently at around, the rent to salary is around 60%. That's the ratio we're kind of working on right now in Dubai for the majority of people.
Rent to salary?
Rent to salary. So you're using 60% of your salary to pay your rent.
But you just said that anything above
Yeah, we're double. We're double. We're double.
Anything above 30 is considered on the higher side.
It is.
So 60%?
60%. Now, let's put this into context.
Man, it's talking to you is a wake-up call for a lot of people, huh?
I think because we always talk averages in Dubai, but we're not talking the average Dubai resident. Right? We may be talking about average real estate numbers. That means nothing to your average Dubai resident. Now, London, 63%. Hong Kong, 66%. Singapore, 64%. Sydney, 55%. Toronto, 48.3%.
But wait, you just mentioned some of the most expensive cities in the world.
Right, that's rent to your net salary.
Yeah.
Right? So we're equal with all those.
So we're up there.
We're up there. We've moved into world-class city type costs. Now,
it's not so affordable anymore.
It's not so affordable anymore, but now here's the real kicker.
Yeah.
That's based on net salary. In every single one of those countries, people are paying tax. That's after tax. That's what their rent to salary is. We don't pay tax here. Right. And our rent to salary is still the same percentage is what they are when they're paying tax.
Oh, wow. Okay. So obviously their percentage will go a lot lower once you calculate on the gross salary before the tax payment.
Yes.
So we're in deep shit. Can we swear?
We're not in deep shit. This is just all part of a cycle. This is all.
I mean, I'm not being pessimistic, but a person that is taking on debt to do all of this is in deep shit.
Yes, they are. They are. And sometimes that's the only way they can survive.
No, and I'm also talking about greedy investors.
You do. You get greedy investors, but we also see some incredibly empathetic investors. I hear stories every day of empathetic investors when a tenant's lost their jobs. We come in and cover them. The landlord has that empathy to say, you know what? Okay, stay there. We've got the cover. You find a new job. Relax. Don't stress. We have issues where there's been cases of critical illness.
Yeah.
And
you actually posted something about that, and it really touched my heart.
That was something very personal to me because
it's personal to me because my father has cancer too, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, my mum passed away because of it, and my dad has it.
May she rest in peace, and I hope your dad recovers.
He actually is. It's actually proving to be quite well, but he lives with it every day. But when we have a case where the breadwinner in a family gets a diagnosis of cancer, the ability for us to come in and cover their rent while they go through chemo, it's no longer a choice of medication versus paying your rent. We take that stress away from them. That for me was an amazing feeling to be able to do that. At the same time, I know what that family is going to go through, so I kind of have the dread for them at the same time, but also the positivity that they don't have to experience what we had to experience, where we almost lost our house because of that.
That's insane. And it's just, I really hope that people get the best out of this watching that, because it really starts to bring things back down to reality, right? Because that's ultimately the end game, is that all this marketing, all this buzz, all this glitter on screen is not the reality. The reality is exactly what you're saying. It's all of these numbers that are actually forcing the market to behave a certain way. And my question to you is that, do you see any sort of government initiative or some sort of initiative or even private initiative to resolve this? Letting the market play it out?
I think there are developers that want to get into affordable housing. I think they're probably waiting for, as you said, the land prices has to make the economics work, right?
Of course.
And that's why the government came in and said, you know what, we're going to build 17,000 units.
Yeah. Which is what they always do. They always lead wherever they want to go, and then they let the others follow. So
maybe if they could have some more government incentives, tax breaks, something like that, subsidies for building affordable housing, that might be a work. the first homeowners initiative, I think is a great starting point. And my only issue with that is they can't buy ready-made properties, right? They can use that to buy off-plan, but then they're paying their off-plan payment plan at the same time as they're paying rent.
Yeah.
So that if they manage their financials enough that way, they could probably do that. And then within 4 years, 5 years time, they do have a property they can move in, and then therefore they're on the homeowners ladder and they can start being an end user.
This is my hot take about the Dubai market in the last few years. And this is how I observe it. And correct me if I'm wrong, and please feel free to challenge me. Since COVID, or I would say shortly post-COVID, Dubai has started to emerge as the go-to place for everybody that's running away from restrictions and just overall discomfort, specifically in the West and other countries where there were a lot of stringent laws. 1. 2, all of these stupid agendas and all of this, all of these things that are making families and people feel uncomfortable in their own countries, again, specifically in the West, especially with all the tax that's being increased on the ultra-wealthy people, has pushed a lot of capital also here to the UAE. Combined with social media powers, combined with a lot of crisis in the surrounding countries that also makes people flock to Dubai as a safe haven, combined with the fact that Dubai is also up there. So it created this unbelievable buzz that made people just want to buy and park their money here. And add to that the ability to hit the ground running here very fast, whether you're an investor, whether you're a construction company, whether you're a developer, you can get set up in a few weeks and start doing business. All of these things have made it almost the perfect storm.
You're 100% right. It's been the perfect storm of hyper growth.
Yeah.
Like you probably couldn't ask for a better.
You can't.
Maybe the gold rush in California days.
Yeah.
Is probably the quickest example that I could say of when we saw something like this happen before.
Yeah. So do you think I missed anything with?
No, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with all the benefit, all the factors that have made Dubai is what it is today.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons why people love moving here.
Yeah.
Right. Especially this time of year, it's just
the
place to be probably in the world.
Yeah.
So I think all those, but that's driven all the prices up.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So it's a perfect storm. And why I chose my words carefully, perfect storm, because it's the perfect storm in the sense that it's all nice and it's just, on paper it looks amazing and on visuals, but it's also a storm in itself because there's also something bad that's going to come out of it eventually if you are not careful.
Probably the biggest issue I would say is, now I saw this on Instagram and there was an Emirati lady saying how when they talk about the UAE, they always talk about, the human rights issues for workers and things like that. And they talk about it as the UAE, but it's not the UAE as a country. These workers are being employed by private companies, not the government. The government pays their employees very well. It's private companies. And that's what she said when they talk about if something like this happened in America, it wouldn't be America's doing it. It would be such and such company doing it.
Right.
So I would say the biggest issue is that our wages, our salaries have not grown at the same level as what the rest of Dubai has.
Yeah.
Someone commented on one of my LinkedIn. He was the one who used the term, we've outpaced affordability. And it's because of wages stagnating. Now, all these people have moved here means that there's more applicants for each job, means that the companies don't have to pay as much. They have choices. It's all market dynamics. It could come to the point where the government says, okay, this is what you have to pay certain things. To be able to have affordability in Dubai, maybe they have to say, this is what you have to pay, right? You can't go race to the bottom on wages anymore, or not increase wages in line with inflation, in line with what the market is actually doing.
I'll challenge that, and people might not like what I have to say, but it also kind of lets people the fact that there's a lot of choices out there, the fact that there's a lot of talent out there, is making the person that is working perform at like 150%, because he knows if his ass gets laid off, there are 10 people outside working waiting to get his job.
So there was actually the last Cooper Fitch report. They're a big recruitment company. They said that exactly what you said. They're now not hiring. They're waiting for people to either resign or quit, and then they're hiring someone at a much lower salary to do the exact same job. That doesn't help wages and rent affordability and path to home ownership or anything like that. It's just the dynamics of the market right now.
No, it doesn't help. The only good thing about it is, or what it helps, is that it's making also people really innovate and try to come up with. Listen, like if I don't perform, I'm going to be broke. Like
a lot of people are worried about losing their jobs. What we've seen is what we call the forever layoff, right?
Yeah,
it's those 20 to 30 layoffs every month, and that's keeping people on their toes because they don't know. Hang on a second, am I next?
Yeah,
right. But that also is then leading to the rise in defaults, the rise in delays. It's always something happening that has cause and causation, right?
Yeah. So we spoke about a lot of things, but one thing I wanted to actually pick your brain on is holiday homes.
Short-term rentals?
Yeah.
Yep.
How are those performing with also the substantial and I don't know if it's a crazy, but I would say substantial increase in tourism, because clearly the hotels are just
they're at 80%. I think I read, which is
they're just it's a lot. It's not enough.
Yeah,
and it's unaffordable for a lot of tourists. They don't want to stay in hotels.
I've actually got a little bit more knowledgeable about the short-term rental market because there was a conference here last month or the month before called Scale, which was for all the short-term rental operators.
Okay.
I've had a very in-depth conversation with the owner of AirDXB, who's also very knowledgeable and absorbs information from so many different facets.
Right.
They seem to be doing quite well. The short-term rental market is doing incredibly well because of the tourism, because of the amount of people moving here. Maybe they haven't found a job yet, so they don't have a residency visa. What do? They stay in a hotel or they stay in a short-term rental place. Right. And maybe they just, even once they've got their visa, they want to stay in a short-term rental while they get their feet. They start to understand Dubai before they make that commitment for a long-term rental.
Right.
So short-term rentals seems to be doing very well. And that's why we can never talk about Dubai real estate as one whole thing.
Yes.
Because there's different segments that are in different parts of the cycle. Off-plan is still doing incredibly well. Short-term rentals doing well. Commercials doing incredibly well. Secondary and long-term renting, not so much, which is where the real residents are.
You have to keep in mind that tourism is one of the main GDP drivers in Dubai. So there is a lot of focus on tourism here, more than you can possibly imagine. And I know this because I have friends that work in the tourism authority, and I know how crazy it is there. It's a machine.
I think we're coming into peak tourism season right now.
Exactly.
There was a report. I don't know the source. For every one resident, 5 tourists.
Yeah, you told me. You're the one that told me on especially with regards to the cars. The cars on the road.
Cars on the road is the most of the new licenses are commercial, not private. Ubers, taxi, buses.
Yeah.
The tourism is doing incredibly well for Dubai, and why not this time of year?
Yeah, and this time of the year, for a lot of people, it covers the months that are bad.
Yes,
and
this is where they make their money.
This is where they make their money.
While the summer downturn for short-term rentals and hotels is real, they can really make their money back during the winter months. And if they're near an expo site, when the expos happen, or any exhibition happens.
Yeah. So, okay, what about expanding outwards? Like, do you feel if developers started building maybe a little bit further, like I'm talking like Dubai South, Jabal Ali?
They're already starting, aren't they? I think.
They've started, but I'm saying if they just focus right now. I'm saying if they just focus on building there, or just forgetting Dubai, just forgetting central Dubai, or even like the outskirts of Dubai, just go far, like Dubai South, Jabal Ali, and the places that are considered kind of affordable in terms of land prices I'm talking. Do you think if that combined with what you said, targeting the affordability market, whether it's affordable luxury or just purely affordable residences, do you think then it could still make sense to enter the market right now?
Yes, I think it could, because
Okay.
you're not going to finish completion until 5 years. You would know better than I would. The
No,
timeframes
I
of
mean,
development.
you can. You can easily in 2 years.
Okay. Oh, in 2 years, then yeah. Why? I mean, then you're going to have a lot more supply coming to the market. Are those what we're calling luxury now? If they're going to be left vacant, maybe they become affordable, just because there's not going to be the tenant there for it or willing to pay the luxury price for it. Is the landlord going to be happy having it sit empty because he's not getting his rent that covers his interest payment? So what
Man,
could
you're making me think, huh?
What,
because now you're right. Because
what
now
could
I'm
be
thinking,
luxury now could be affordable
Exactly.
just because of the market dynamics, which is great for tenants. It's great for the residents.
So what's the solution? What's the perfect solution then? What is it? Like how do you pivot? Do you just wait? If you're sitting on land, or if you're sitting on cash, or if you want to enter the market now, do you just wait like your family offices are doing?
They're waiting. They're waiting for 2028, 2029, which they think will be the bottom. And if you look at most cycles, that's what the map would normally show.
Let's do quick math, me and you.
Okay.
Let's do quick math, because me and you are obsessed with numbers, right? So they're gonna wait out. So if they're waiting out, that means their cash is either sitting in a bank.
Yep. It's not sitting in a bank.
Okay, it's not sitting in a bank. It's sitting somewhere.
It's sitting somewhere enough to get them a high enough yield.
But that yield, is it enough, or is it sufficient to maybe outpace or outdo whatever returns they might get in those few years until the market dips?
It's close enough. It's close enough for them not to have to take the risk and
are they making 10%? Because you can make 10% easy now. I mean, not 10%.
No, you can't.
No, not 10%.
So right
I
now,
would say 6 to 7.
We're seeing net yields drop below 6%.
Yeah, but on ultra luxury,
yeah,
on luxury, you can make 10.
You can.
Easily make 10.
You can.
Actually, much more.
You can.
Yeah.
It's not very liquid though.
Exactly.
Right?
That's a problem.
So they're sitting in decent yield liquid assets, whether it be bonds, treasuries, something like that.
So that's what I thought they would be doing. So they have it in somewhere safe, not crazy returns, just enough to
that
wait.
they're not losing money from inflation.
And then they're waiting for the market to dip, and then that's when they're going to attack and buy all.
And then they will have a time frame for the next cycle.
Yeah, and not just time frame, but then they'll have options too.
Yes,
because then they'll be like, let's pick and choose.
Pick and choose, and maybe pay a discounted price to what it is today.
Not just, and I'll go even further. I'll be like, they'll probably find a lot of distressed deals.
Yes,
that are